Welcome to the season of self-love, your daily dose of inspiration and encouragement. I'm your host, Nyomi and I am thrilled to be here with you today. This podcast is brought to you by Ask Nyomi and Elevate Me Self-Discovery. Are you ready to elevate your mindset and embrace the power of self-love? Well, have you come to the right place? Each day we'll dive into topics that will empower and inspire you on your journey towards self-discovery and personal growth. Whether you're looking to cultivate healthy relationships, boost your confidence, or find balance in your life, this podcast is here to support your every step on the way. We believe that self-love is the foundation of living a fulfilled and joyful life. And together we explore practical tips, insightful interviews, and transformative stories that will leave you feeling inspired and motivated. So join me Monday through Friday as we embark on this daily adventure of self-love. Tune into the Season of Self-Love podcast to start your day on a positive note and discover the limitless potential within yourself. All right. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Today is Wednesday, April 3rd, 2024. And you know what it is? That is 100 episodes. 100 episodes.
Consistency is real.
Yes. So today we will be celebrating 100 episodes here with the Season of Self-Love. And I don't know. I might cry on this one because it's definitely been an amazing milestone. It truly has. What has started off to be a short little 4-week mini series. You know what I'm saying? Just a weekly podcast that was added on to Ask Nyomi Bridging the Gap podcast. It has turned into now 100 episodes and growing big. I am filled with gratitude. I allow myself to step aside and allow whatever God had for me to happen with this podcast. And what I mean, y'all, that I wasn't looking to do no daily podcast a week like this on top of everything else I had. I just didn't know that I had the time. I didn't. And I had to remove myself. But not only that, in the midst of it, I had someone to come and join me along on this journey. He had tapped me on my shoulder in January. I speak of this all the time. And he has came on this incredible journey with me, and that is Dr. Will. Not only is he, spiritually inclined to all of this, but also he comes in with a medical type of professional where he can kind of help us to access and separate a lot of things. I love to get his perspective on things. I think what it does with this show, it helps balance. It helps balance it a lot. Even throughout this, I mean, we're going to talk about some more because we're going to talk about it some more. But look, I went right off the script. I had a whole script written out, but I'm all off the script. All right, guys. So again, welcome to the Season of Self-Love podcast. I'm your host, Nyomi Banks. And again, this is our 100th episode. I am filled with gratitude and joy as we gather today to celebrate 100 episodes. And it's truly been an incredible journey, exploration, growth, and most importantly, self-love. And today we're honored to have Dr. Will back with us, who you might remember from the enlightening conversation back in episode 60. Well, Dr. Will, welcome back. I thank you. I thank you.
Well, I had to do my speech. So, Nyomi, it's amazing to know that not only did you trust me, but you trusted yourself enough. You trusted your mind, you trusted your heart, you trusted your spirit. You didn't just pull the trigger and just did what you had to do for 100. You didn't just you didn't sprint 100 episodes, right? Even when sometimes it did feel like it was doing the most, you did not sprint through these episodes. You really took your time and you carefully crafted 100 episodes with consistency, with consideration, with care, with curiosity, and courageousness. And to know that you are doing this and you're still smiling, you're still uplifting others, that is so much positivity that you've put into this world and this universe. I just hope you understand how much of a spiritual presence you are in this human life. And I just hope that you take that into your heart, and I hope you know how proud not only I am of you, but the people that see you doing the work behind the scenes to get here and record. That's really the work. They don't see all the work from the behind. They don't see all that. And so you do it all. And I just want to acknowledge that. And I just hope that you really take some time, especially today, to just recognize how valuable you are.
I do. Thank you. I got my water because I said I wasn't going to be here crying. I ain't getting no tissue though. But for real, I do. Even last week, we talked about it a little bit, as we were, just coming up to, today. And I sat with it this morning. And I remember my morning prayer when I got up. I just thank God for just continuing to guide me, on this journey. Sometimes it might seem like I am going through it blindly, but it's like when I start to see everything, I understand why I'm here. I understand the why so loud now. I understand the why so loud. Not only was the self-love podcast for you all, it was for me. It was for me not to just speak about it, but be about it. You understand what I'm saying? To be in a lifestyle for me. And, I came to not only transform myself spiritually, mentally, but now physically by taking the jump to now be very aware of what I'm putting in my body now and understand that what I put in my body can have a lasting effect that I might not be happy with. You understand what I'm saying? And so in so many ways, self-love shows me about being self-aware, about knowing when to have self-care routines, know how to have self-compassion for myself, but not only be, gratitude for what I have, but also be gracious and have grace for myself. A lot of times we are hard on ourselves. And I heard you loud and clear, and I thank you for it. And you say, I hope that you sit in this and truly understand, how important you are in this spiritual realm of things and how you do. And, I do. I do. That's all I can say is just that I truly do.
I do is more than anything. Yeah.
I do. Because I can keep rambling on and on and on. But I want to get this started because I want to, see, what's your favorite episode thus far that you've been through and all of those things. Yeah.
I'm gonna slightly call you out to celebrate your small wins. Remember we had that talk? Celebrating your small wins. This is a small win because we're celebrating this, right? So this is right back to you celebrating your small wins. So yes, we're gonna get right to it, but yeah, I want to celebrate you real quick. So yes, amazing job. Yes, celebrating your small wins. Mm-hmm.
Yes. All right, so let's do this. Let's take a quick break and then we come back. Then, I want a gift for this celebration. So my gift when you come back is just to bring us back in with the beautiful guided meditation.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
All right. It's your girl, you got it, Nyomi Banks here on the Season of Self-Love podcast. And we will be right back.
Welcome to the Season of Self-Love podcast with Nyomi Banks, where every day is a chance to embrace self-discovery and personal growth. Join Nyomi on a transformative journey, streaming exclusively on Spotify and Breaker. With daily episodes from Monday through Friday, podcast is your daily dose of inspiration, motivation, and self-love. Dive deep into engaging conversations about self-care, mindfulness, and personal development. Nyomi brings you expert insights, practical tips, and uplifting stories from thought leaders in the field. Embark on a journey of self-discovery and unlock the power of self-love. Mark your calendars and tune in to the Season of Self-Love podcast. Available every weekday on Spotify and Spreaker. Remember, it's time to prioritize yourself and embrace the beautiful season of self-love. Get inspired and join Nyomi Banks on the Season of Self-Love podcast.
Washington Wellness Institute focuses on healing always. For me, if I look good, then I feel good. If I feel good, then I share the good. If I share the good, then I celebrate the good. If I celebrate the good, then I live the good. so I can be paid to be my greatest. But I have to learn the good to be the good. So, what does it take to be the greatest? It's as simple as a free 15-minute consultation. Be kind to yourself and heal always.
All right, my beautiful people. Well, welcome back. It's your girl, Goddess NmW&x here on the Season of Self-Love podcast. And I'm here with Dr. Will. Hey.
Hey, I'm moved and motivated.
Moved and motivated. That's what I'm talking about today. We are celebrating the 100th episode here at the Season of Self-Love podcast. And I am just full of gratitude right now. I am gratitude, amazement. I'm proud. I'm standing here with my chest out. And just proud. Even when I look back on it, I think about Ask Naomi Bridging the Gap podcast. We haven't even made it to 100 episodes. We're around the corner from there. But we had, and I've been doing that show for almost 3 years now.
Wow.
Almost 3 years now. And I believe both of them have a purpose in life. I do. I just truly, when the Season of Self-Love came up, I just knew that I had to continue to do it. I did. I had to continue. I wrote a blog for it. I post. It's scheduled to post later today after the show with the blog. But it was just, writing down some thoughts that I had, even going into it. Like I said, it's even me sitting here is bigger than me. And when you realize that something is bigger than you, you're able to sit in it and, I guess, like be a spectator to it all. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Yeah. You get so into it that you see all around it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's truly your flow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was going to say something else, but I'll wait for that. All right. So let's pause for a moment for mindfulness as we go through a guided exercise, breathing exercise by Dr. Will.
Of course. So let's just get comfy real quick. You can relax your eyes. You can relax your shoulders, relax your jaw. Just allow your breath to be the one thing that matters to you. Feel how much air is coming into your body. Feel how much air is coming out of your body. Allow yourself to just sit. Now feel your mind sit. Next, feel your spirit sit. Recognize how your spirit, your mind, and your body are sitting together as one. And as you sit, what moves around you? Is it water, words, wind? As you hear my words, what is one word that comes to you as you are aligned? Allow that word to be understood, cared for, nurtured, and intentional by your mind, body, and spirit. Breathe in with your nose. Breathe out with your mouth. Breathe in with your nose. Breathe out with your mouth. Go deeper. Allow that word to become a tool for your greatness. And as you come back, begin to write one way that word can be used to benefit your mind, your body, and your spirit. Slowly come back.
All right, my beautiful people. Thank you. That was beautiful. Um, if you're new to the Season of Self Love podcast, and this is something that we do every Monday through Friday here, so where we have to get grounded before we get into the topic. And today is all about celebrating, as you say, those small wins, our big impact. This is one of those small wins that brings that big impact. And that's the 100th episode of the Season of Self Love podcast. And so I want to go to your, you do this to me every time. Go back to your guided meditation. And I'm going to share with you the word that came to me. Safe.
Oh, I love that. That is a gift to feel safe.
Safe. And so as I'm sitting there and I feel the word safe, I hear it loud and I feel, I don't know, it was wind, but it was like, I don't even know what this plant is. I don't even know. It was just like the plants were just going like this, and I was just feeling just safe. Like I just feel like safe everything that I'm doing. Like it's safe to move forward. It's safe to let go. You know what I'm saying? It's safe to be bold. It was telling me just you're safe. You're safe now.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah.
That's beautiful. And it takes a lot of time for people to find what does safety mean for them and how do they share safety with others. That's a very, very hard thing to do. And it takes a lot of self energy to create and hold that at the same time.
Yeah. Wow. I just had like so I believe it's tomorrow. Tomorrow we have a topic where we're talking about embracing your uniqueness and about vulnerability. A lot of times you have to be in that safe space within yourself to be able to embrace your uniqueness and to be able to embrace your vulnerability.
Yes. And that,
Yeah.
That's a whole conversation, because I call that being able to stand in your own fire. A lot of us are afraid to stand in our own fire. And so when we walk towards it, we're like, oh, it's too hot, or it's too, you're going to have to be able to step into your own fire. Your own fire will never burn you. And a lot of us have been removed from our own fire, so we don't even realize what it's like to be warm in ourselves. And so how do you create that warmness in yourself before you give that to others?
I like that. That's okay. That's fun. All right, so let's talk about the topic today. We're talking about just enjoying this journey right here. And can I say it's been really amazing? It has. So what I want to do is I want to take this moment to reflect on our journey together. So we've covered everything from mindfulness, self-care, rituals to overcoming obstacles, and just embracing our true selves. And I received countless of messages from a lot of podcasts that say that we touched them. For you, Dr. Will, any particular moments that stand out to you?
Just in general, of all the things that we've talked about. To be straightforward, I would say, I think it's when you ground yourself in conversation is when I feel the most affected by you. There's this space, for me, you have 3 levels when you talk. You have the space of knowing, you have the space of learning, and you have the space of affirming. And when you hit that affirmative space in conversation, it guides me to direct my own worth, my own self-value, my own worthiness of this moment. And I have to either accept it or reject it. And so a lot of times when I'm learning how to become more affirm with my own self-concept, the way that I see myself based upon how others treat me. And so we talk a lot about self-esteem, but we never talk about self-concept a lot. And so when you remind me about who I am, by how I'm treated,
Mm-hmm.
it gives another level of identity and reassurance of how I'm processing my journey and my growth. And so a lot of my gratitude comes from the mirror that you reflect in me, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It does. I remember in the beginning of the season of self love, and I remember doing a show about mirroring, mirror image, mirroring, and the people
Mm-hmm.
around yourself with. And I remember having this conversation, and I believe it was with my sister, and we were talking about the people who have come into our lives and been into our lives, and especially when we're unhealed, we kind of um, reflect or attract those that we are feeling in that moment in that time. You understand what I'm saying? So hurt
Yes.
people, they attract other hurt people. People of abandonment, they attract other people of abandonment. Because they see their likeness in you.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a conversation that I was saying, speaking of her, and actually my cousin as well, as when we were talking about that mirror gene, and I just said how I have been going through the spiritual journey, but it allowed me to go through the healing and the self-love journey. So in that process, it allowed me to kind of remove that mirror that I see myself as now. So I no longer show that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
no longer a reflection to that other person, because now I'm no longer that young lady or that woman that I was before. They didn't understand the abandonment, didn't understand the hurt, didn't understand any of those things, because I really didn't know who I was. I didn't know who I was, and I didn't know that I had permission to be completely me. Does that make sense?
It makes so much sense. And
Yeah.
and I think, and I'm curious, if you don't mind,
Mhm.
when do you know you're growing out of something and when you're shedding something?
So let me say this, because it was hard. It was hard to know the
Mm-hmm.
difference. It was hard to know the difference between shedding and growing. And when you don't know, you tend to stay in those situations longer. You tend to stay in those relationships with friends or whatever, or job security or career security, because you don't know if I'm just shedding some. And when you shed, that means that you elevated in the same place that you were before, but you're just going to
Mm-hmm.
another elevation of it. But when you grow, that growth is meaning that you can grow beyond and grow a whole nother, say as a tree, you grow a whole nother branch that can be able to go, further out. What I'm saying?
Mm.
Grows and makes you go somewhere else. And sometimes for me, I didn't understand what that was or what that looked like, because I was an abandoned child that was trying to be there for everybody. You understand what I'm saying? And I figure if I left them in their situation of where they're at, then I was just as wrong as the other person that's abandoned. And so my growth, I saw that as shedding more of me, just continues to just grow what I'm doing right here in this aspect
Mm-hmm.
of life, versus, allowing my branches to grow, you know.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
love that.
yeah.
I love that. And I appreciate you saying that, because I think that, you know, unfortunately, when you move in your journey, you're always revisited by similar scenarios and their tests, and like if someone shedded and someone grew, the reaction to that scenario is going to be different.
It's totally different. It's totally different.
Mm,
And even when you grow, you can go back and talk about that situation and be like, you know what, if I was a year or two ago, I probably would have continued on with that. But I know better now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know I grow.
mm-hmm,
And it's now, not that it's funny, but it's for me, it's a proud moment. For me, it's a proud
mm,
moment. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's one of those small wins that's one of those small wins when you see the growth. I remember telling one of my girlfriends, and I was talking to her, and I was saying how spiritually I see my old version of me watching a new version of me. So actually, it's like three versions of me. It's three versions of
I
me.
told you when I talked to you, I see you in three different ways. I was like, there's three of you. Yeah.
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 I see the old version. I see the me now, and I see who I am to be. And as I'm going through it, and when I say it's been an amazing journey, it has, and I have to keep saying that because I don't know any other word that can describe it. I can't say out of body because it's me. I'm all three of those individuals. I'm in the past, I'm in the present, and I'm in the future. But to watch it and see, because now you actually see your growth, you actually see your elevation, you actually see your transition, you actually see all of that in real time. And when you're able to see that, it makes you spiritually high. For me, it does. It makes me spiritually high, humanly high. It makes me all of those things.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when you say spiritually high, people think like, oh, you're just excited. I'm like, no. When I mean spiritually high, it means your ability to create meaning out of everything possible, right? You can take the humanizing attack and make it spiritually yours, right? So the things that used to be harmful on the human sense, you're now looking at it from so many different angles that it loses its potential to harm you. You actually look at it and like it's like not being able to see a bullet in the past. You're like, oh my gosh, these bullets are flying. But then now when you're spiritually high, it's like you see the bullet in slow time, right? And it's like the Matrix, right? Where you're just watching it and you're just like looking at it and you're trying to understand, like, well, why is this happening? Well, what's going on? Everything slows down.
Yeah.
Everything becomes more meaningful, and you're no longer attached to the survival mindset or the scarcity mindset or the minimized mindset of things. You're no longer connected to that.
Yeah. And that's why that word safe just popped real loud in my head.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. And how long have you been feeling this way?
Ooh, it has to be about 2 years. How about 2 years? A little bit over 2 years. And I remember when it started. I remember I had went on a 90-day cleanse, a 90-day fast. So I wasn't eating nothing, just fruits and vegetables, no meat, nothing. And I think when I did start eating meat, it was just fish. And I was in my room every day, in my go-to room every day, every morning. And I still had my OnlyFans. I was still, just doing all that. And I remember I was talking to this young lady who I thought at that time she was my spiritual mentor, but she wasn't. And she told me, she said, "No, I'm not." She said, "Because I'm getting a lot of information from you." And so, her and I were, we were talking. I remember she had called me about a dream that she had, and she wanted me to explain to her what her dream was. And I remember asking her to meet me at this park around the corner from me. And I remember sitting in that conversation with her. And I remember I was just smiling and just like, I don't know what it was, but it just, whatever else was happening around me in the world, family members and stuff, it did not affect me any, because I was trying to, I guess there's a reason why this happened, and we just got to pay attention to it. When I say that to people, they're like, "No, it's not supposed to be happening." So, kids are supposed to die. When you hear stuff like that, just take a beat a moment, like, hear what I'm saying. Let's not take one extreme, out of what is happening
Exactly
for you right now, But then those are, when people do that, they deflect on what they really supposed to be seeing. Okay, so
yeah.
So fast forward, we go to the park and we're sitting there, and I just started talking. I don't even remember what I said to this woman. I don't remember what I said to this woman at all. And the only thing is I remember is afterwards there was I felt high. Like I felt like I have been drinking and doing some drugs. I don't do drugs. I drink, but I don't, I just felt really
Mm-hmm.
high. And then from then on, it just there. I see things totally different, like you say, I see a different perspective. It's not about what's happening to me. It's about for me. It's about messages that I've seen. Even when I go back and think about the things that happened to me or choices that I've chosen that did not come out right, but there were lessons in those that I've, had. And even when things come up now that's testing me, I look at it the same way,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the thing. And, I'm tested every day, just like anybody else. We are tested every day. And the good thing is now that me being tested, I understand what that test is. And I won't get upset with myself or at the situation. I sit in it now and understand, okay, what that is.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's actually like the formula for gratitude, right? So we talk about how reflection, like, when people are growing, they reflect on things, they'll celebrate things,
Mm-hmm.
they'll be proud about things, but to be grateful, to have gratitude for things, it's recognizing the meaning of its purpose in your life, the meaning of something's purpose in your life. And so a lot of times what you're talking about is the foundation of gratitude, because a lot of times we don't recognize the purpose of other things in our lives, but we always talk about our purpose. We don't understand what other people's purposes are in our lives.
Yeah.
And so even though that woman you spoke with, understanding that gratitude begets gratitude, and then there's a power in creating to know why something has a purpose in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Or right, like you always say, like, there's a reason in the season, or that's a moment, and false things fade, true things stay, right? But the truth is, gratitude doesn't care about truth or false, right? Doesn't care about any of that. It means, what is the purpose of this?
Yeah.
Right? And that gratitude is like, once you find the meaning of that, you can show gratitude. You don't just have gratitude, you show gratitude, right? And so I think it's so important having that ownership of gratitude and purpose that you've had in these past 2 years, how it's been developing in your life. You've been living a lifestyle of gratitude throughout your spiritual high.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah.
You did that. You did that.
Yeah. Yeah. It was and I think I told you the book Surrender. Once I finished reading that book Surrender, yeah, that book, yeah, that kind of put the battery in my back, and kind of like, okay, yeah.
So I'm curious, talking about just like a journey of growth, how did you know that you were on a journey? Why didn't you know it was like a moment, or like, oh, this is just a season, or this is just a destination? Like, how did you define this as a journey, right? Like how did you know that this was a journey?
It's just a feeling. I remember back in 2020, and I'm gonna go recently to 2020 is when I had an awakening moment. But that wasn't my first awakening moment. That's just the first awakening moment that I paid attention to. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, that I paid attention to. Throughout my life, I've had certain things, certain people to come into my life to tell me what my future is going to be. And of course, at that time, I couldn't receive it because I didn't know what it was. When I had my last baby and I was on bed rest the entire time, I knew my life has always been a journey. I just knew it. You know, I used to live by this, well, I still do, it ain't live. Don't judge a book by its cover, but take the time to read the pages within the book. And I knew from the time I was a little girl, and with everything that I've been through and everything that I've seen in my life, versus if it was my life or somebody else, those were stories. And in those stories, there are journeys within those stories. I just didn't know
Mm,
what my journey, entailed. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
that's how I knew that it was all. I just didn't know if there was an end to it or where I'm supposed to be. I knew every day
Hmm.
for 8 or 9 years that I was in the adult industry. I knew that that was just a stopping point. I knew that wasn't where I'm supposed to be. Just even with my
Right.
prayers every morning when I was in a car on my way to set, I would tell God, when it's time for me to please let me know. Because that used to be my prayer room right there in my driver's seat of my car for 20, 30
Hmm.
years of my life for driving. So I've always knew that there was something, I've always knew that I'm supposed to do something in life that's bigger than me. I've always knew that. I always knew that it's something
Mm,
in my life that I'm supposed to change the world, because as a little girl, that's what I always used to say. I'm going to change the world. I'm going to make the world a better place. And I remember my mom telling me, no, you can't, because, and I
mm,
just saying it, that was her way of protecting me,
yeah.
because, you know what I mean? Not
That's
knowing how things go,
mm,
but you understand what I'm saying?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. But it's funny because my mother used to tell me, she would tell me, she's like, baby, you can be anything you want to be, but you just can't be a president because you'll get shot. And I was like, what? I was like, oh, okay, cool. I didn't think anything of it. But then once Obama became president, my mom called me and I was like, Ma, Obama won. And then I was like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, why are you crying? She's like, I told you couldn't be a president. You can be a president if you want, baby. I'm like, it's too late. I was gonna be a therapist. It's too late for that. I'm not doing this. And I was like, it was too late for that. So it's interesting how like she was doing it to protect me,
Yeah.
but she thought all the things I could be anything else I want to be, but I just couldn't be that thing. And I was like, that's just really interesting how the protection can show itself in such weird ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
It's funny that you say that. Even I think about those things, um, as parents. We no, so let me say this because I don't do that. But my mom used to do this to me and my sister and my brother. If she wants what she wants for us, because she wants to make sure that we're better than her, you know. And so for
Hmm.
her, I was very not that I was a matter of fact, but I was a person that was very debatable. I've always had to prove a point. I had to figure why. Why is this? You had to prove to me why is this or whatever. And so she always said that I should be a lawyer. That was her. She was stuck on that, like law school lawyer. This me no. I wanted to go to theater, music. That's what I wanted to do. Be
Yeah.
there. And she was like, no. She was like, no, no. And she was adamant on that. And she said, because I want, and she said, you can be president one day. I don't want to be president.
I love how this is like all these like overarching like titles, and it's like, no, I don't want to do that.
I don't want to do that. I wanted to be, somebody stage dancing and singing.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I didn't
Yeah.
want to be like, that's a lot of work.
Right. Right. They have to look at me like this. I don't want them to see me like this.
Right. Because in her mind, that's the only way that I can be able to change the world. Being a lawyer, that's the
Hmm.
only way that I'm able to change the world. So when I sit here right now, in hindsight, she was giving me what she thought of opportunities to be able to change the world
Mm.
in those ways. You understand what I'm saying? By being
Ooh.
or being a lawyer. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. You see, now you're hitting deeper water now. So when you think about a journey, you think about how many opportunities were given to you in your journey and how many opportunities you actually decided on in your journey, right? The opportunities definitely outweigh the decisions you had. And so, how did you find value in your journey? Because many people, especially in mental illness, they don't always feel like they have options, right? And when you feel like you have less options, a lot of mental illness can come up, right? The anxiety, depression, a lot of impasse, a lot of different mood disorders can occur just because of lack of options and opportunity. And so, like, how did you find value in opportunity more than the actual decision, right? How did that become a thing?
For me, I don't think I ever sat around and wait for opportunities. I think I always created opportunities for myself.
Mm.
I've always been that
Wow.
person that will create shit for myself. Just period. So I never waited around. I never waited for
Hmm.
anybody to give me, or what's that saying? I never waited for it to sit at anybody's table. I've always created my own table. It's funny that you say
Mm.
that. Probably a few weeks ago, I was thinking about this thing is called I never fit in. I never fit in. I've never fit in with anyone. I've always created my group of friends. Like, even though I was a jock, even though I was popular, I didn't hang with the jocks or the popular kids, that had the money. I wasn't
Hmm.
included in that. Or even with the church people, even though I did all of these things in church, I still wasn't a part of their group. So I kind of created my
Hmm.
own thing where I didn't have to feel valued from any of them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And what and so, like, you know, the timeline, right? This past person that you've realized that has now this current effect. There were lessons in tests and all that to
Yes,
get you ready for this moment right here.
exactly.
I just the gratitude in that, right? That they weren't doing something against you. You were never meant to fit in. You were
No,
meant to create what you were created to stand out.
yes, yes. It's so funny. I'm gonna tell you this story. My literature, my American lit teacher, Miss Crahone. She
Hmm.
used to always draw this big old circle, this big giant circle. And she always tell me I would get kicked out of a room every day. And why I would get kicked out every day is because I'm always questioning something that's in that book that do not seem right to me. I'm not getting ready to keep. So she said, "You here? This is the circle. Wait, this is the circle, and I'm that dot outside of that circle." She told me that for 2 years, my junior and senior year.
Mm.
She told me that for 2 years, and probably about 3 years ago is when I got it. And I truly embraced it. I said, because I've had several different careers. I've been in
Mm.
several different spectrums of the entertainment business. And honestly, I never fit in. I've always created my own lane of things and done it well.
Mm.
So I am that dot outside of that big ass circle. And I'm okay with being
Yeah.
that dot outside of that big ass circle.
Well, the beautiful thing is that that circle might have been too small. So you
Mm,
need, and so maybe that when with the where you were outside of that circle, you were into another bigger circle that you didn't even see. That you might have been in the center of the bigger circle.
mm,
A lot of times we don't know where our perimeter is until we break our own plateau.
mm-hmm,
And so I would say you plateau or you push, you know. And so for me, just knowing that you're outside of that circle, it meant that there was a bigger circle you were a part of.
mm-hmm,
Because once you leave that one circle, there's another bigger circle outside of that. The
mm-hmm,
world doesn't revolve around you, but it does revolve around you at the same time,
mm-hmm.
right? They say the world doesn't revolve around you. Well, actually, it does, because if I decide to change my whole lifestyle up, there's a lot of people are going to be affected by that. So it does
Yeah.
revolve around me. So you should be more conscious of what you do around other people,
Mhm.
and in your journey, there are people that are revolving around you more than you ever would even admit. Some people won't even want to admit it because they want they don't want to admit that their lives revolve around you,
Yeah.
right? And they're mad that it does, right? And
Mhm.
so, I feel like your journey has been a testament of what it means, or how much does it cost to be yourself? How much does it cost to be yourself? And do you know if you're worth it? And I feel like that is a huge question to take on.
That sure is, because I was like, can I be? Can I be very honest with you?
Mhm.
And hear me when I say this. I don't think it cost me anything. I don't. I think, and I'm just gonna be real. If it was
Mhm.
meant for me or meant for them to be in my life, they will be. I
Mhm.
I don't live with regrets no more. Everything's supposed to happen for a reason. It definitely had. And I understand it now. This is probably the most fulfilled that I ever felt. And I don't have nowhere near the money or the clout or anything that I had before. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to show up every day if I don't want to. Full makeup, hair, contacts. You know what I'm saying? I love
Mm-hmm.
myself in my authentic way. There's been a long time since I've been able to say that. You understand what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
what I
And
mean in
live
my
it.
authentic way, I mean in every but ugly situation possible that it can be. Like I'm living my truth. And
Mm.
it F's with a lot of people because they're trying to figure out how can you live in your truth when you did this. But yeah, I did that. But see, the thing is, I did a whole lot of other great things. And in that you
Mm-hmm.
shut down, that was a great moment for myself as well as a whole lot of people. Might not have been for you.
Mm-hmm.
For me, that it was because what it did for me,
Right.
it help me to transition to something way bigger than what I could ever imagine to be. And seeing people don't
Mm.
understand that instead of using these different choices that people say and all of this other stuff as, people got on hard times. You don't know that time when they hit that ground at that hard time, that probably was the best time that was needed for
Right.
them because that is where they was able to really grow.
Exactly.
Catapult. Yeah.
I'm so glad. Thank you for saying that. Thank you so much for saying that because I'm truly currently in my own life. I'm having the most highest and lowest point of my life at the same time. And it is such a spiritual awareness. It's like everything smells different. Everything tastes different. Things don't taste the same. I don't even eat the same anymore. I'm trying to find language to talk to people again because I have to translate myself in a whole nother way. And it's to meet you in this moment in my life. I would have never thought. And I think for me, I'm done thinking and I'm just trying to be.
Yeah. That's it. That's it. Because I'm a thinker too. And
Yeah.
I battle with that. I battle with that thinking and I battle with just being,
Mm-hmm.
allowing, just that. There was a conversation a statement that you made, excuse me, when you said about opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because I have other people on the outside. Well, if you would have did this or you would have signed with them, it would have been, no, that wasn't meant for me. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then you see some crazy shit that goes on, there with some of that stuff. So the
Yep.
journey that I'm living right now is the journey that I'm supposed to. And I'm just I'm gonna say this. I feel safe where I am. And it's the
I
song
feel
that come
safe
up
where
from
I am.
a church that I used to lead. It's called I'm Safe. I'm safe in your arms. That's it.
Mm,
Period. Yep.
yeah.
Hmm.
And I think, in my quest, I don't give homework, I give quests. And so the quest I gave at the end of that meditation was, how are you going to use that safety for somebody else? Right. And, I think that's the part of that's like the end result of purpose and gratitude is like knowing that you can give a gift, right? When you have growth, you then understand gratitude and then you prepare your gift for
Yeah.
somebody else.
Yeah.
And I'm curious what, like, when you think of your gift, what is the gift that you're going to, that safety, right? Like what do you like, how does that look like for you as a lifestyle?
For me, it's just continue to be my unique, authentic self and allow myself to be vulnerable. Trust myself. We don't trust ourselves. We don't.
Hmm.
And it's just trusting and knowing that you are who you are. God is within you, or whatever your higher power is, all within you.
Hmm.
Um, you have to love yourself unconditionally. You have to be in love with yourself. You have to have that
Hmm.
intimate relationship with yourself to feel what I feel. And I can't explain it, but it's a safeness, because I am at 100 episodes right here. And probably something that people would never thought that I would be doing. You understand? I do understand there's a lot of people in this world across that I do touch. But I'm still humble enough to understand that there's still growth for me to do, even in my self-love journey. There's still people that I need to meet that I will be able to learn from. I am open to receiving. Before I wasn't. It's all about understanding who you are, the good, the bad, the ugly, but also to have compassion, to also be willingness to see your growth as much as you can, to know that you are your own safe space. If we get out our head, trust ourselves.
Yeah.
We cut all the noise on the outside of us. Yeah. And when you start to think bigger than who you are, a lot of questions that I ask, a lot of people say, I don't know what my purpose is. A lot of people say that. And you know why they say that? Because they're thinking on a daily basis on how I'm going to live.
To think about output and input.
Yeah.
When people ask me about purpose, I always tell them, on your journey, I say, what do you want to be known for? That's the final principle of my healing model is purpose is the human compass. Purpose is the human compass. And to do that, you have to ask yourself, what do I want to be known for? They'll answer that. And then I ask them, how do you want to make that a lifestyle? Because once you make that a lifestyle, everything will come to you naturally. Right. You won't have to work for something. You won't have to create something. You will just be what that's presented for you. And it'll be worthy or it will not be worthy. And you'll know. Yeah. Because it will fit your purpose.
So let me ask you this. Have anybody ever came to you and did not know their purpose because they feel like, I'm not supposed to have a purpose. I'm just supposed to be here and live?
Yes. And they didn't have a purpose. And so when you don't have a purpose, you live in motive. And you'll realize that you'll tire out faster. You'll be more upset with how things aren't working. You will force things to happen. You will be connected to things that are not truly yours. You will begin to resent, regret, remorse, react, and rationalize your own worth. You will start to actually become more behaviorally focused. Your motives will be all based upon instant gratification and survivor mindset. So when you're living in motive, you will get tired. You will get exhausted. You will overexpend yourself, and you will extend yourself beyond your limit. And you have to work within the limitations of your greatness. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. When you said that, I remember. I remember, especially when I retired, and trying to figure out. Well, actually, then it was more to try to figure out to turn some lemonades into lemons. Yeah. So it was, okay, let me make sure that I'm going to be the greatest thing that came out of adult industry, especially as a Black woman. I opened several different businesses. I had I had a record label. I had so much shit. Excuse my language, I had so much shit. So much shit. And I remember when everything started crumbling down. And the only thing that I had was myself. And I had to ask, why was you doing all that again?
What was I trying to win?
Why was you doing that? And
what was I trying to prove?
Right, exactly. And out of all of that, which one did you like the most? Which one gave you the most pleasure? And it was really helping people. That has always been my that's always been me.
Yeah.
So your cosmetic line, why you do that? You understand what I'm saying? I even had the sunglasses. I had like everything like that.
Wow.
Then I said, well, I'm gonna leave it for my kids. They ain't want that shit.
That's a whole other topic about the difference between legacy and lineage. Because a lot of us believe our lineage is our legacy.
They was like, no, we want to create our own. Hey.
like you wanted to be like you didn't want to be a lawyer,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And so
Wow.
it's like I need to do something that I love to do. And what I love to do is I love helping people. I love talking to people. I love doing all of that. My house was a haven for people to come in, lost souls. Seriously. They'll come in there, they'll drop all of their garbage right there talking to me. I give them advice and they'll go on about their merry way all of my life.
You were a guide.
Yeah.
Truly. You're truly a guide.
Yeah.
Wow. It's amazing.
Yeah. So this is where I'm at now.
Phenomenal. Right. Now you just turned into this. That's a metamorphosis. That's amazing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's it. Mm-hmm. And we just talk, we talk, and we didn't really get too much done.
we got each other done. That's fine. We talked. That was fine.
No, but this has been a great celebration. It has. It's been an amazing celebration. I cannot wait to see what we do for the next 100 episodes.
Wait. I got a question. I got one more question for you before you go. I got to ask you. What advice would you give to somebody else that wants to get to 100 episodes? What advice would you give them as they want to guide, since you're truly a guide?
Honestly, and this is the very first thing. Be patient. Be patient. Be patient. Be patient with yourself. Be patient with the project, with the progress. Remove the perfectionist. Be your voice. Don't try to mimic others. It's good to have them to influence you. Don't worry about the listeners. Don't worry about how many listeners are listening. Just continue to be you. I think we get caught up in what the listenership is instead of concentrating on your message and why you are doing this. For me, I take each monthly topic of what I'm going through in life. So I make it more authentic to me. So whatever your podcast is, and that's one thing I figured, do a podcast that you truly love. How people say do a niche, do a niche here. Don't do a niche because it's a popular niche. Do something that is truly of your heart and that you want to be of service to somebody. I believe we talked about this before about having an experience. When somebody come here to the Self-Love Podcast, I want them to have an experience of growth, experience to allow them to be able to transition their lives whatever way that they want it to be. To possibly they could come in here and they could resonate with something that allow them to open up to where they can find their purpose, where they can have that relationship with themselves. So then it'll be a domino effect into the world. So I want that experience to where we going out and we sprinkling a little dust on everybody, because we're just spreading this love all around to everybody. You understand what I'm saying? So my thing is you have to be you. Whatever that looks like. Take off that perfectionist hat. Take off the comparing. Don't compare yourself to nobody else. You have to know that you are who you are, uniquely you. And also find the safeness in you. Find what makes you safe. And what makes you safe will allow you to remove the blockage, will allow you to step into your greatness, would allow you to walk in your purpose. And when you walk in your purpose, you will be full of purposeful things.
Yeah, I'm glad I asked that question. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That was good. I ain't got nothing to say after that. That was great. My brain was like, click. It locked it all in. My brain locked that all in. Yeah, that was amazing.
But yeah, just be patient. That's the biggest thing. And I had to tell myself to be patient. Don't compare. Don't do what else. This. What else, man? Don't do that.
I tell my clients that. I say, do you want a life of what ifs or OLs? What ifs or OLs?
Oh well, in the moment, because at least I did it. At least I tried it. Like, oh well. Then whatever I did wrong or didn't, I can correct that. And try it again.
The art of play.
Yep. And try it again. And try it
Mm.
again. All right. So, we got to go. I'm scrolling down. I'm just scrolling down. What I want to do is I was going to give me a glass of almond milk, but I'm truly looking forward to the amazing things that the season of self love is going to do. And I truly believe that it's going to be beyond just the scope of where we at. Um, period. Again, I thank you for being on this journey with me, Dr. Will, as well as my listeners. Oh my God, I thank you all. I thank you for the comments that you put up under some of the things. I thank you for the emails. I think you guys push me a lot, with it, and I thank you as I continue to allow it to grow around me because I'm just following. I promise y'all, I'm just following. So when I get something to download, I just go and do it, and y'all just do the same. Seriously. And I like that you had me the
Mm.
word safe. Find a safe within your heart. Find where you can be safe with yourself. And I believe once you find that, then it can open up so many more doors for you. It really can.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's
So
beautiful.
until next time, my beautiful people. I don't know, that's where you had any last words before I close it out?
You got me speechless. That's beautiful.
Thank you. All right, again, I want to thank you. This is 100. This is 100.
100.
Yeah. That's
Ooh,
what I do when I take that tequila
love
shot.
that. I was like, I remember that now. I'm like, why we the library? Why are he there? We the library.
Again, thank you, my beautiful people, for continuing to share every day with us, Monday through Friday here at the Season of Self Love. Again, I am the Gertie Goddess Nyomi Banks here with Dr. Will, and we will see y'all next time. Have a good one. Thank you for listening to the Season of Self Love podcast, and we hope that you enjoyed this fun filled with inspiration, empowerment, and self discovery. Remember, practicing self-love is a journey and not a destination. For more information and to stay connected with us, visit our website at theseasonofselflovepodcast.com. And if you have any suggestions or questions or feedback, feel free to shoot us an email at seasonofselflove@gmail.com. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Facebook for daily doses of self-love tips, motivation, and community support. So join our Facebook group, The Season of Self-Love, to connect with like-minded individuals on their journey to self-discovery and self-compassion. Thank you again for being a part of our community and dedicating to nurturing self-love and embracing self-worth. So stay tuned for more exciting episodes and guests in the next season. And remember, you are worthy of love, kindness, and all the happiness in the world. So until next time, take care of yourself and spread love wherever you go. See you soon.